Okay, so this is the fight for heroic Kargath and Highmaul's raid. For pretty much all intents and purposes, this fight is going to be exactly the same on normal. The only difference is that there's going to be green stuff on the ground that you don't want to stand on. I don't think that's there in normal. And then when you go up into the stands, you have to kill some additional ads that weren't there in normal. And then everything else is just more damage. So like normal, you probably want to tank them in the middle, and you want to have the range spread out for the shadow leaping effect thingies. And then people need to stay close to the fire pillars in case they get fixated. And then of course, don't fall into the traps. So for this fight, it's not really any DPS check or anything. I don't think that the enrage timer will be an issue. As long as everyone is doing above 14-15k DPS, that should be fine. You probably want to have maybe about 5 healers if you're gonna do this on 20 man, and then you want to have probably 6 healers for 25 and 30. For the group that goes up, they really need to make sure that they do a good job, because if they don't kill all the iron bombers up there, the raid is going to take way too much damage. So the group that goes up, they need to take out the iron bombers, and the iron bombers also drop a little bomb on the ground, and you can see like a little special effect of when it's going to blow up. So you definitely don't want to stand close to that, because that will probably one-shot you if you're not at full HP. For the first time he throws you into the stands, there's 6 iron bombers you need to kill. And then the second time he throws you into the stands, there's gonna be also 2 drunken bile slingers which throw the green stuff onto the ground. Okay, so yeah, definitely need to watch out where he's going to enrage, and then no one can stand in front of his, sorry, not his enrage, but his berserker rush. No one can stand in front of him when he goes into the berserker rush, because he's gonna kill pretty much everyone that stands in front of him until he reaches fire or he reaches the fixate target. So for this fight, you really need to have the tanks be pretty geared, because in some previous attempts the tanks kept dying. So that usually happens when they get impaled. I would say you probably don't want to take more than 1 stack of impale. 2 stack might be doable depending on how the tank is with his cooldowns and his gear. But 2 is gonna do a lot of damage, so you really need to make sure that you can keep the tanks alive. Aside from the tank damage, if everyone is executing perfectly, with the exception of the people going up into the stands, there should be very little other raid damage. It should just come from his shadow jumping ability, which doesn't hit very hard. So the tanks really need to be the focus points of healing for this fight. And then of course, don't tank him near a fire pillar either. And then you need to also move away from the green stuff so that the DPS can avoid them easier. So if you have this down on normal mode, then heroic mode shouldn't be all that more difficult for you. It's just a matter of making sure that the tanks don't die. The rest of the raid shouldn't really have an issue with survival. It's just mainly the tanks and the healers. DPS of course needs to be a little bit higher than normal mode. I would say 14k and above is what you would want to shoot for. So I don't actually have a video of going up into the stands, but as you can see on the top of my screen, it shows you how many iron bombers remain and how many drunken bile slingers remain. So you want to have the 5 people going up be coordinated, as in they all run in the same direction and DPS down the big mobs. Once they kill off all the iron bombers and the drunken bile slingers, they can jump down back into the ground. They don't need to wait for it to get thrown off. As soon as the bombers and the bile slingers are killed, they just jump back down and continue DPSing the boss. So as you can see, healing wise, everyone's pulling 13k healing at least, which isn't really all that difficult. And then DPS wise, we have pretty much everyone at 14k, some people up at 20.
Can you guys ride?
Which should be doable with gear around 635 to 640. Shouldn't really be too bad of a problem for that. We just need to make sure that you can control his berserker rushes. It looks like we just had one that went out of control. Started killing a bunch of people. Okay, that's pretty much the fight. A little bit harder than heroic or normal.